What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Canik TP9SFX. Before we do that, I want to mention my patrons and supporters. As always, you guys are awesome, and you guys help keep the channel moving right along. And because of that, we do some pretty cool stuff over on the Patreon page. If you want to be a part of the Patreon squad, all you got to do is go to the description below and click the link and join up. Also in the description is a link to a local homeless shelter that I like to support named Iowa. I'd really appreciate it if you go down and click that link and donate to those kids. They could use your assistance. The Canik TP9SFX is a high-value, budget-oriented, do-it-all pistol. Really marketed to people who want a lot of features for a lower price than a standard premium style gun. The TP9 is a striker-fired polymer frame pistol with a 5.2 inch barrel, 28 ounce overall weight, so it's very light. Think Glock 34. If you're familiar with the Glock 34, it's almost the exact same specs. Basically a long slide version of a full-size duty pistol. The gun is also optics ready, so if you're into the whole optics thing like I have been lately, it actually doesn't just come with the mounting system, but it comes with lots of different plates for any type of red dot that you want. I was actually really impressed with that. I actually chose the RMR for this guy because that is what I had available and laying around, and it worked extremely well. I'm a big fan of Trijicon products. They are definitely my overall favorite red dots. I'm a big fan of the SRO and the RMR for different applications. As you can see here, it's got a lot of features on the gun. It's got porting in the slide there, well, slide cuts I should say. The barrel is not ported, but it is to help reduce the weight, the reciprocating mass of the slide and speed that up. It's got front slide serrations on it. It comes with a fiber optic front Warren tactical sight and a blacked out rear sight. One disadvantage to this model, along with like the PPQ match and similar Walther-esque designs, this is kind of a copy of a Walther design, so I don't think it's a coincidence that they're both there. As you can see here, my red dot's off a little bit. It's because I lost a screw. I took this off and remounted it, and I only found one of the screws, so I just threw it in there quick for a review. I'm actually going to take this off and put the rear sight back on pretty soon, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like with the optics, since that's what we did with the majority of the testing. It's got a screw spot here for a charging handle. Essentially, it's just a screw-in charger that you can use if you want to shoot in open class. I would stick without it and run it in carry optics. That's kind of what this gun really screams for me. It's got a front Picatinny rail on it. Full rail, which I really like. It's got an extended magazine release right from the factory. That's very cool. It's got a extended slide release as well. Not ambi, but pretty close. Takedown is very similar to a Glock. Back straps comes with 3 of these 18-round mags, which is pretty cool. I think it comes with 3. I'm pretty sure it does. Comes with 3 of these and a holster. One of the biggest selling points to the Canik line is that you can pretty much buy this out of the store and go compete with it right away. There's not a lot of guns that you can say that. You're not gonna be number 1, probably, but you could be. I actually know a guy that I follow on Instagram, No Skills, I believe his name is, and he shoots all sorts of competitions and wins national titles and whatnot with this exact gun right here. Well, not this exact gun, but a SFX. It's definitely capable of keeping up with all of the other guns that it competes with in carry optics, including guns like the Shadow 2. Now, as I alluded to before, it is made for competition, and honestly, not only does it excel at that, but I wouldn't have any problem using this as a home defense pistol or even a carry pistol either, honestly. And people sneer at that because of the long barrel. I understand that would be a little less comfortable, especially in the appendix area, but the reality is it's only 28 ounces, Glock 34 weight, and that is not heavy. For years, I carried a Commander size 1911, and that was much heavier than this. I've consistently carried guns throughout my life that were heavier than this. Not bigger, but heavier. And overall, I would say that it's not overly thick, so I could see you being able to carry this. I could see you being able to use this for home defense. And then when you wanted to, you could take this out to a match, or go out and plinking with the fellas, or girls, whatever you're into. You would have no issue at all. As a matter of fact, like I said, this gun, for the price, is certainly capable of keeping up with guns that are significantly more cost. Part of the reason for that is the unbelievable trigger. And I gotta say, you can tell it's a copy of the P99 because This has a similar, if not the exact same trigger pull to a PPQ or a VP9, and they have aftermarket accessories available for this that make the trigger even better. So I can show you it right here. Very light break, very quick reset. I mean, that's got to be one of the best polymer frame triggers, one of the best triggers that I've ever felt, honestly. That feels like very similar to my CZ Shadow 2, and that's pretty awesome considering the price, which is right around the $500 mark. You're going to be able to find these between $500 and $600, making them one of the best values for the money, at least as far as features for the gun goes. It's got to be reliable though, right? And in my testing, 1,000 rounds through the pipe, it absolutely was. The Canik SFX did have some reliability issues in the first 100 rounds. I don't really consider that a knock on the pistol overall, considering that it's made to be a budget-oriented pistol, and the fact that it happened during the break-in period. I'm not going to knock it too much. However, we did have 2 failures within the first 100 rounds or so, and it was standard 115 grain ammunition. The remaining 900 rounds had 0 failures, so I feel like it made up for itself. However, that is something to be aware of, even though I do consider the pistol reliable, considering that it did go 900 rounds without a failure. But it still did have those first 2 malfunctions in the beginning of the testing, so take that in consideration. And that was kind of a crapshoot for me, because even though this gun was reliable and the Canik subcompact that I reviewed was super reliable, I did have some issues with the compact version of the Canik Elite series. Other than that, I would consider them excellent pistols overall. And that had some issues with and without the recoil spring change. Now, Canik is made overseas, and they are well known for liking hotter ammunition. So if you're shooting low-powered 115 grain or 147 grain USPSA loads, you might have some cycling issues, so you're probably going to have to go online and pick up a new recoil spring, and you're probably going to solve those issues. However, even with the Canik Elite, when I did purchase a new recoil spring, I still had issues every once in a while, but I did not see those with the subcompact or this model. Because that trigger is so awesome, and because you're able to put a red dot sight on it, and because even without the red dot, you're going to have those Warren Tactical awesome sights, the accuracy is unbelievable also. For a gun that costs this little, like I said, between the $500 and $600 mark, and that's after the toilet paper apocalypse, you really do get a lot of accuracy for the money. If you want to get a lightweight gun, like a PPQ or like a VP9 that's extremely accurate, this also falls right into that same class. 100 yards. If it wasn't going so fast, it would hit every one. Extremely accurate pistol for the price. Very impressive.
But it's very cold, so.
What?
But it's very cold.
Yeah, it sucks real bad. It's raining on us.
80 one day, 40 the next.
The trigger interface with you leaves you very little room for error. So even if you suck with your Glock trigger or your stock M&P trigger, you might try out a Canik and find that you're a little better shot overall, because it just alleviates some of the pressure of that good trigger pull, because it just has a lighter weight, crisper break, and a faster reset. So not only is it going to make you more accurate, but it is actually going to make you a little faster as well. There's nothing that beats skill, don't get me wrong. You can't buy skill, but less distance is less distance. And if you have a trigger reset that goes to here and resets, or you have a trigger reset that has to go all the way out to here, obviously if you're just a little bit slower than the next guy, but you have a trigger that's 10 times better, you're gonna end up being faster. So you can't buy success, but you can buy a little bit. The ergonomics are good. I would hit on the texture as I do everything else. I like sandpaper texture, literally. So pretty much nothing is good enough for me overall, except for like the M&P 2.0 or like 25 lines French checkering on a 1911 or something like that. But I think this is really smooth, especially for a carry pistol. I would like to see a little bit more texture overall. I would also like to see a more modular grip. Now, I did say they have back straps, but they don't really do too much. I mean, they're like barely a difference between any of them. So overall, I'd like to see that changed a little bit. But that's just my bias, honestly. I like a thicker grip and more texture, so overall I think for the average person that's going to be totally fine. The grip is comfortable, and it is more of a 1911 grip angle, unlike a Glock, so you don't have to get used to anything weird. The trigger undercut is awesome. There's plenty of room for your finger, no matter how big or small you have. A lot of people get Glock knuckle with certain guns. You're not going to get that with this. The magazine release works extremely well. All of the controls were very good right from the box, and a lot of times if you get a gun that's a budget-minded type gun, especially a gun like this. Now, you may not think $500 is a budget gun, but in the competition world, it most definitely is. Competition pistols that I would imagine this goes up against can retail for $5,000. So imagine that this gun coming in at 1/10 of that cost is very impressive. Squared off trigger guard there, so if you want to get your Jerry Mitchell-like on, you can do that. And the takedown is very easy to do, very intuitive. All you have to do is pull the trigger, pull back a little bit, push forward, and the gun is apart. So that's really easy to do. Magazine, well, not the best, but still has a little bit of bevel there, which I do like. And this pin here that you have to push out, I forget the damn name of it, but it is kind of a bear to get out. So if you're going to change the back straps, which that's what you have to hit to get this out of here, I would use a punch. I would use a pin punch. I forget the name of the pin. It's going to be embarrassing. There's going to be 100 of it in the comments. But overall, if you're going to change this back strap, I'd only do it once. Magazines are very nice, as I said. Not only are they high capacity, but they have a little bit extra base plate on it as well, so they're very easy to grab right from a magazine pouch. So even if you're running production class and you can only run 10 rounds in these, it's still very nice to have a big old base plate to grab a hold of. I can't stress that enough. Just speed up your reloads and make things overall just a little bit easier on you. Because of everything I said, I still believe it is amazing value, but it does have some cons. Now, some of those cons that I've heard people talk about, and similar people that I've talked about that shoot in competition and use this pistol exclusively, I have heard that there are some long-term durability issues. Those varied from springs to different things. Just occasionally you're going to have some wear issues with this pistol, and that doesn't surprise me all that much. No pistol is perfect. But I've heard that the Canik series does wear out a little bit quicker than something like a Glock or a CZ, which I guess really isn't that surprising because they have to cut corners somewhere. Also, it is in fact made in Turkey, and a lot of people do have issues with firearms made in Turkey, and I completely understand that gripe. If you're not interested in overseas firearms, I have no problem with that at all. Go get yourself a Smith & Wesson or something like that. But if you're looking for a value style oriented pistol that has this many features, they're going to be pretty tough to find overall. The Canik series is well known for being way under the average pistol that it competes very well with, and this one is no exception. Tungsten slide there, a Cerakoted slide with the two-tone finish, looks very cool as well. It's got the Browning high power cuts along with the slide serrations, along with the slide porting, and the top of the slide has serrations on it. I mean, where do you get features like that other than like a $2,000 1911? That's very impressive to me. Overall, I came into this gun a little bit lukewarm because I've had issues with the Canik series in the past, and I was very impressed. I can't say that enough. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.